Hello and welcome to an emergency episode of today's anatomy question. I've asked Mary Richards, our fearless anatomy expert, to offer an unscheduled session today because I'm having a sacroiliac crisis.
I've been there, sister.
And before we start, we want to just share some sad news with our audience that our beloved dog Juno, maybe you want to tell us, Mary.
So my dear dog Juno, this is her last day on this side of the Rainbow Bridge. She has malignant melanoma that's progressed very aggressively, and she hasn't eaten or had any water now for 3 days. And so she let me know yesterday that it's her time. So we'll be going to the vet, and Meow Meow Kitty, Penelope, has been helping me take care of her for several weeks now, giving her kitty massages and just doting on her. And so our live studio audience is about to change.
Yeah, so we love you, Juno.
Yes.
And we're saying goodbye.
She's coming over, I think. Junie Buck.
Oh.
Juno. She can't see anymore, so she just follows the sound of my voice. Come here, sweetheart. Come here, baby. Yes, it's Lizzie.
Oh, hi, love.
Yes, you lay down next to Momo. Okay. She is the sweetest dog on the planet, and I know a lot of people say that about their dogs, and that's because they are all sweet. And
yeah,
you know, I hope someday to be as wonderful as Juno is.
Yeah, they teach us so much, this animal love.
Yes, it's really unconditional, and yes, that's my girl. She has a sacrum too, you know.
Yes, back to the anatomy topic at hand. So I'll tell everyone what happened. I don't usually have a lot of trouble with my sacrum, my sacroiliac joint, but ironically, I was doing a webinar for Experiential Anatomy, our yoga movement literacy course. I was recording a webinar with Mom about how not to twist in Parvrita Trikonasana. And I demonstrated several times how not to twist. And I woke up the next day with like searing pain. Mom was like, you never want to teach this to your students because you'll cause sacroiliac dysfunction, yada, yada, yada. And then I was thinking, oh, like I'm young. I can just show it and show it and show it. And then I woke up the next morning and I'm like, oh, I'm not that young.
Yes.
Not that young.
Anatomical reality and Lizzie met on the mat. Yeah.
Oh, so it's been really intense. And then, of course, I woke up this morning. I couldn't walk. I can't lean over. I can't put my socks on. I can't. And of course, out of some sort of sitcom, like guess who's coming to dinner tonight? My husband's parents.
Yeah.
We're having them to dinner. I'm trying to cook and host and make brownies and do something for clean the apartment, you know, the stress of like making everything perfect. And I'm like hobbling around. So I texted Mary, please, can we do an emergency session? So to pull it away from just me, I don't want to go so deeply today into why this might happen.
Sure.
That we have done other episodes about that, and people sort of know in yoga how to mess up their sacroiliac joints quite well. So what I was hoping is a kind of therapeutic look at, once you've gotten yourself into this situation, what are some tips and tricks for how we can maybe self-diagnose to figure out what dysfunction we have, and then maybe some movements or, I don't know, magic to alleviate our suffering.
Yeah, because, you know, the sacrum's a keystone bone in the body, just like the talus in the ankle is a keystone bone. So if we think about architecture for a moment, and we think about an arch, and let's call to mind an old cathedral, and the arches, the stone arches, are put together in such a way that they don't require nails or screws or adhesives, because they use geometry and physics to keep them together. And at the top of the arch, there's always this wedge-shaped stone. Well, that's like your sacrum. So when your sacroiliac joint is out of whack, really your whole body's kind of out of whack. And the definition of sacroiliac joint.
Let me just say,
Okay.
I amen to that, because the entire day today, I keep hearing your mom's voice in my head. The pelvis is the center of movement in asana, because I'm not doing asana, but just trying to like make a lentil soup for like when I move my arms, my sacrum hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every movement I'm doing, I'm feeling it's creating pain in this area.
Yeah, because you've got too much mobility now in the joint. And so there can be a couple of things that cause sacroiliac joint pain. We know that yours is a positional issue as a result of Parvrita Trikonasana. How do you know, though, in your students? Well, they're going to say, I have pain. And for you, it's on your left side, right, Lizzie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that gives me a pretty good idea that your sacrum is actually turned toward the right.
Okay.
So your body hasn't minded the gap, if you will. It's got too much of a gap. And if I just pull up pocket anatomy for a second.
Please.
Okay. So I'm going to, let's see, strip us just down to bone and pull up my trusty pen. All right, so we're talking about the sacroiliac joint. And when we look at pocket anatomy, we can see these are large bones.
Right.
And when we look at that wedged relationship, we can intuit visually that it's a joint of stability. Okay, it's not like a knee, which is highly mobile, or a hip that's highly mobile. So what happens when we get out of whack, which is the official term, when we get out of whack, is we'll have too much space in the joint. Okay, so we're looking at a posterior view. So this is the left and this is the right, and you're experiencing pain on the left. Odds are your sacrum then is turning this way.
Okay, so the locus of my pain, if I had to touch it with one finger, is exactly that left PSIS. Can you show us that for everybody where that is?
The pain is right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
here's my question. Here's my question. I said to my sweet husband this morning, I showed him where the pain was, and I said, I think it's my sacroiliac joint. And he said, how can you be having pain in your bones, because bones don't have nerve endings? And I was like, I have to ask Mary Richards.
So
what's the pain? What am I actually feeling?
Okay, so I'm just going to pull up a few tissue layers. I love that I can say these things to you and you don't look at me strangely. Okay, so you see all this white glossy, connective tissue. All right. Now I start adding muscle layers. Well, between the the sacrum and the ilium, see that connection?
Yeah.
The tissues get irritated and you'll have inflammation. And then if we add another muscle layer, bing, bing, bing.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. The muscle tissue will get irritated because, see, it's trying to hold you together. It's literally trying to hold you together, but it's sort of like a swimming against the current because your bony relationship is out of joint. You're out of joint.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. You're out of joint. And the fascinating thing is you can actually feel bone pain because all of the bones in the body are wrapped with this special fascia called periosteum. Peri near to osteum, bone, near to the bone. And the periosteum has nerve endings and the like. And so it's a deep nagging pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And can you maybe take a guess as to why the only position I could find relief in was a sort of passive back bend, sitting on the floor and then lying over a bolster? Why would that's sacral nutation, right? Why would that feel better?
Because it has a chain effect, if you will, in the sacrum. Okay, so let's strip back down to the bone, and I'm going to give us a little bit of a side view.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite that much. Okay, so you're experiencing pain here.
Yes.
Okay, well, actually, it's more like there. My incredibly accurate finger. Okay, so by putting your sacrum, by moving your sacrum into, and you're not consciously moving it, you know, it's moving passively as you extend your lumbar spine in, say, supported bridge pose. So you're moving into lumbar extension, which automatically puts your sacrum in nutation. So you know what that does, Lizzie, is it then moves the sacrum, the boot of the sacrum, toward the ilium, toward congruence. It's starting to move it back into joint.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Fascinating.
Yeah, so you're
Okay.
so you're using the sort of applied physics of a supported bridge pose to provide bony support. The props are functioning in a way like external ligaments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so how can I speed up this process of getting my bones back into the position that does not cause pain in every movement of daily life, like going up the stairs or going down the stairs or emptying the dishwasher,
Okay.
or putting on socks?
Okay, so I like to say that the ability to resolve a sacroiliac joint situation is like the holy grail of self-adjustment. And there are several things that you can do. Yeah. Okay, so let me just add a muscle layer to, because we have to address this on a couple of levels. Okay, hold on just a second. Oh. Okay, so I wish I could. All right, so here we see hi Penelope. She's like, I have a sacrum too. We can see the big gluteus maximus, and under it is the piriformis. And so piriformis attaches right about where you're having pain, PSIS. So we want to get your piriformis to really work to help stabilize the joint, to move you back into place. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so we need a couple of things. You'll need a block and a strap. And we're gonna start with a functional test, if you will, that's very safe. It's easy for your students to execute for self-education, and it's easy for teachers to help figure out what you need to do. Okay? So I want you to have a block and a strap nearby, and if you just come down on your belly when you're ready.
Okay. Let me.
The transitions are so terrible.
So terrible. Let me just move my
Because
mic.
see, all the connective tissue, it's trying to pull you back. It's like, wait, sacrum and ilium, they belong together. Don't fight. Okay. So Lizzie,
Okay.
your arms, your head, in whatever position is most comfortable for you. The wider your legs are, the more comfortable you'll tend to be. And let's just see what's happening. So I'd like you to curl your left heel up towards your bum. Just bring your left foot up and tell me how that feels.
That's okay.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
lower your left leg and curl your right heel up.
That's also okay.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're just checking to see if one side, if one side is hypo, not mobile enough, and the other side is too mobile. So the great thing is that you have likely tissue strain. Perhaps it's not a tremendous torsion in your sacrum, but your tissues aren't working properly.
So what would it have told you if I had a lot of pain lifting one or the other side?
So if you had when you curled your left heel up, if you had pain on that side, I would know that essentially you were stuck on the left side, that you're hypo, not enough mobility. Okay. Now, when you bring your right heel up, if you had pain on the left side, I'd know that you've got a significant positional fault, too much mobility. Okay. So that's kind of the first step. So let's do this. There are a couple of ways to make this easier, but I know that you're fit and active. Penelope knows you're fit and active. She's walking. So stack your hands and rest your forehead on your stacked hands. Exhale one at a time. Curl your heels up towards your bum. Doesn't matter which one you start with. And then so this is the first way to start, is we just alternate bringing the heels up toward the bum. And now we moved your legs wider than the width of your sacrum because that tends to be more comfortable, but you can play with the position, moving the legs closer together, not holding them together, but just noticing if that changes sensation.
Yeah, I mean, the left PSIS where I said it's beginning to throb a little bit, but it doesn't feel as though this is creating the pain. It's just like it's sort of saying like, why are we moving around?
Yes, yes. So we just check with this action, and now curl both heels up towards your bum, your popshi. So this is one way to start, is just by alternating, curling the heels up one at a time, and then bringing both up. And you do this a few times. And it mimics the action of walking.
Right.
Okay. Now let's add another layer. So separate your feet quite wide. Curl the heels up toward the bum one at a time. I keep saying one at a time because I don't want to add torsion to your sacrum.
So that hurts on the left.
Yes. So when you curl up.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we now know that that joint is it's really out of whack. Okay. All right. Now curl both heels up toward the bum. And glue the soles of your feet together. So like you're in Makrasana, crocodile's pose. Yeah, you feel that? You feel that? Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Any numbness or tingling?
No, just like red hot pain.
Yeah. And
so are you still doing diagnosis, or
no,
is this
so now I'm I want to establish a rhythm, trying to get the rhythm back in the sacroiliac. Okay, so you can just relax the feet down toward the floor. Yeah. Uh, and then it totally stinks, right? And now move the legs a little closer together, comfortably for you. Okay. And I want you to curl the toes of the left foot under, just the left foot. So your knee, your thigh stays down on the mat. Now push through the heel, and the knee will lift. Yep. And now just point the toes toward the wall behind you. Yep. I know, I'm sorry, but not really. Toes down, toes, just the toes down. Relax the knee. Yeah. Okay. Now just do that 30 times. No, I'm kidding. See, what we want to do though is we want to get your glutes working to take load, to carry load.
Okay.
So you can do this to just use the muscles to help support the joint. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yep. Is it getting any better?
Yeah, a little bit actually.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll do in your home practice, you do about 10 of these.
Okay.
Okay. And then I want you to do it with both legs.
At the same time.
Uh-huh. At the same time.
Yeah. Doesn't hurt as much as I thought it would.
Yeah. And you play with the width of the feet for you. So everyone's skeletal proportions are different. Some people need their legs a little closer together. Some people need their legs farther apart. It all depends on the width of our sacrum and what feels best to you. Yeah.
So it's almost like half Shalambhasana.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
But see, this is an activist version of what you were instinctively doing in a supported bridge pose or a supported fish pose, whatever, you know.
So what's interesting to me is if I don't lift the feet, if I lift one and then the other, it creates pain. I have to really lift them at the same time. If I let the right one go first, then it kind of grips in my sacrum.
Yeah, yeah, because the left side is it hasn't decided, is it in the door or out the door, you know? Am I going to the party? Am I not?
Am I just going to ruin your weekend?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So then rest. And then I want you, when you're ready, to roll to the side most comfortable for you. And ease yourself up to seated. When you're ready.
Like this right here?
Yep. Because it's just tugging, it's just pulling on the joint. Okay. So now just slide your bum off your sticky mat. You can't be on a sticky mat, but it's fine to be on carpet. And I want you to put your feet on the floor, knees bent. You're going to take your left elbow and you're going to wedge it to the inside of your left knee and interlace your fingers over your right tibial tuberosity.
Luckily, I know where that
is. Okay, so I'd like you to.
This is already painful.
I know it's about to get a little worse, but I just want to. It's pain with purpose. It's pain with purpose. See, the pain that you're feeling in all of these transitions and in your movements, that doesn't have any purpose except to tell you that something needs to change and needs to change now. So what we're doing now is we're affecting change. So separate your feet just a little more. Yeah. Now squeeze your knees into the midline of the body, and I want you to now push out through your left elbow. So you're setting up dynamic resistance. Squeeze. Yeah. Now I want you to pretend that you're on little sliders. Your ischial tuberosities are on little sliders, and I want you to just slide your left sitting bone forward a little bit and let it recoil back.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's like a twist.
But leading from your sitting bone. Okay. They're
Yeah.
not stuck to the floor. Make sure that sitting bone is moving.
So you want me to actually pick it up and move it?
No,
or
no,
do you
no,
want me to just resist?
sliding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like swing it forward.
Yeah. Now, how does that feel? Yeah.
It's really intense. This is the most painful thing we've done so far.
I know. So what we're doing is we're turning on the piriformis muscle. Okay, so this is the piriformis training exercise because the piriformis crosses right over where you're having pain.
Okay, we've had some brief technical difficulties, but we're returning to the scene of the piriformis crime.
Yeah, so we want to use the piriformis to bring you back together. So you're compensating a bit, Lizzie, by leading with your shoulders. Totally normal. Shoulders and hips are sympathetic axes of movement, but that's called cheating. So I want you to focus on just moving the sitting bone.
Yeah, it's hurting.
I know, it is. It is. Yeah.
So, but I'm not feeling, should I be feeling that with each successive one, it's starting to feel somehow better? Because that's not what I'm experiencing.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Okay.
That hopefully will come next.
Okay.
Okay. So this you do about 20 times, left, right, left. Now, if it's really painful, go right, left, right. Okay.
Why?
Well, because see, I can't get my hands on you. So I'm guessing across the Atlantic Ocean and most of Europe that you know what's going on.
Right.
But see, the right side's a lot easier, yeah?
Yeah, a lot easier.
Yeah, so see, it's the left side that's got too much mobility. And that's why it hurts.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're trying to get the piriformis to work, but the thing is we don't want to bully the body, you know? So it's fine to do, say, 8 to 10, if you can tolerate 8 to 10 on the left, and then just knock out 20 on the right. And then do another 8 to 10 on the left. But we want the muscle to, see, a muscle can only affect a joint if it crosses it. And that's what the piriformis does. Okay? So we want to engage the piriformis to sort of lasso the sacrum, to reel it back in to the ilium. All right?
You know, the funny thing is, in addition to this passive back bend, which I started doing this morning, I immediately also, although I haven't tried it yet, had the intuition that what I needed to do was dance almost. I needed to like move my pelvis somehow in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, because just very briefly, the way you got into this situation was by not moving the pelvis in its organic manner.
Exactly. Yeah. I was doing twisted triangle pose and Mom was showing what she doesn't want, which is to hold the pelvis back level across the top of the sacrum, teacup. So we're having, again, some technical difficulties. Mary has jumped onto her iPad so we can finish this segment. Where were we? What else do we need to know about? Is there another exercise I can do?
Yes.
What else do you want to tell us?
So the other thing we want to do is we started by priming the pump, if you will, with you on your belly and just alternating, bringing the heels up toward the bum and then bringing both heels up and then coming to Makrasana. Then we did the piriformis retraining exercise. So now what we want to do is we want to block. And you want to come down onto your back body on the mat with the block nearby and the strap. Because you do have your in-laws coming over this evening, and so I want to help you prepare for that visit. Oh.
I'm just going to be like, don't judge me. My apartment is messy. I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I love your son.
Okay, so now you're on the back body with the knees bent, and
this feels heavenly.
Yes.
By the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's going to be hard to make brownies from that position. So, so it's fine to do the pelvic rocking, you know, just tucking and tilting, sort of enliven the lumbosacral rhythm without gravity. That's a very nice thing to do.
And I noticed I was doing this morning kind of rolling, and I can roll in one direction, but when I try to roll in the other, it's like,
Which direction is it harder for you to roll toward?
So I can roll like this, and it's okay, but when I try to roll like this, it goes like, no.
Yeah. Okay, so now I want you to take your block, Lizzie.
Come to me, block.
And I want you to lift your hips just enough to put the fat, flat side of the block under the center of your sacrum. So it's got to be under the median sacral crest.
Okay, and do you want to turn this way?
I like
or this way
personally, but it really depends on your body and what you prefer. Yeah. Okay. And now I want you to just rock from left to right. So you'll push down through the right side of the sacrum, and And now, do you feel like you want to go to one side more than the other?
Yeah, I mean, so when I do it, my PSIS is really on the edge. Is that what you want?
Oh, I want your
PSIS almost falling
on the block. I want it on
fully on the block. Yeah. Fully on the block. Okay.
Because you need to have a platform.
Okay, so I have a wider sacrum than we may imagine. Okay, so when I go to the left, it feels like that's where the pain is, and when I go to the right, it feels like there's more space.
Yes. Yes, so twisting can be really tricky when you have an SI problem. So let's reduce the twist. And instead, what I want you to do is I want to integrate your deep abdominal muscles with your sacrum. Okay. So I want you to try and keep your pelvis stable, but not glued to the block. And now I want you to press straight down through the right PSIS. Just try to get heavier on that right side.
Yes.
And then you're going to do the same thing on the left.
Are you a reincarnated medieval torturer, Mary Richard?
Yes, I am. I normally wear a black hood, but it doesn't look so good on camera.
Oh, yikes. This is intense.
Yeah.
It hurts on both sides. That's the new news.
Yeah. So we're just sort of rocking you into place because, see, we got to address you from the back and the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want you to do 50 of these. I want you to do about 6 of them.
Okay.
Okay. And then you rest in the middle. Yes. Now, we can do this bilaterally. So bring the big toe sides of the feet toward one another comfortably for you. And we're going to maintain constant resistance. So as you inhale, I want you to pull your knees apart towards Supta Baddha Konasana.
Okay.
Pulling, and then exhaling and pulling the knees back to center.
Okay, but create, like, making resistance in both directions?
Yes, constant resistance. How does that feel?
It feels very like Jane Fonda.
Yeah. We just want to get you balanced in the middle. So we work the groins and the outer hip. See, we need to circle the wagons around that SI joint.
Yeah, and it feels, I mean, this feels fine. This feels fine.
Yeah. So it's not about full range, okay? It's very important that we don't let the knees hang below the front of the hip because we don't want to push the heads of the femurs against the acetabular labrum, okay? We want to make sure it's a constant resistance, and these you do about 20 to 30 of them.
Yeah, this feels, it feels like it's containing my sacroiliac. It feels really nice, actually. Like, I feel like I'm putting on a corset.
Exactly. So that's exactly what we're doing. We've just been, we started at the back, then we went to the front, and now we're coming at the sides and the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I'm going to show you one last thing with the strap
Mm-hmm.
that is, I've found it so helpful. I've been here, Lizzie. I've been here. I once had a philosophical debate, shall we say, about balancing the teacup on the sacrum in Parvrita Trikonasana, and the instructor and I were arguing about it, and when my SI joint popped and I was immediately debilitated, I said, "I told you so."
So that's what I wanted to ask. Is this a joint, for example, like you can feel your lumbar spine when you do a twist, sometimes it goes pop. Is this a joint where we're like right now in this dysfunction? Am I expecting some kind of pop back into place, or is it going to be much more subtle than that?
It's going to be much more subtle than that. It all depends on degree. So some folks, especially if it's an iliosacral problem, meaning it's never just the sacrum, it's never just the ilium, okay? They're in relationship. So sometimes you need that defixation, that pop, but that's not the case here. Yeah.
Okay.
We need to reduce inflammation in the tissues and get them working again to support the joint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now when you're ready, it feels good now, right?
Yeah, it feels better.
Yeah. So you'll just rest there for a moment, and then I'm sorry, but I'm going to have you transition to standing when you're ready. And this is where the belt comes in, the strap.
Mm-hmm. It's like I've suddenly added 50 years to my body. Like I feel like I'm moving like an 80-year-old.
Yes. And I've worked with people who have had SI joint problems for 10, 15 years.
No.
And when we've resolved them, it's changed their lives. And I've been fortunate to, in an integrative fashion, a combination of therapeutic modification and pre-asana. That's what we're doing right now. We're doing pre-asana, pre-twisting. We're pre-Supta Baddha Konasana, doing pre-asana and combining it with
hello, head.
They're
just rolling my just rolling my camera slightly. A little further back.
Oh, you seem to be moving a bit better.
Yeah. You've done something. You've done something, Mary Richards.
Okay, so now this is important. This is where the quality of props is very important, and a thin strap isn't going to do it. I see you have that looks like a 2-incher, a Manduka.
Yeah.
Awesome. My favorite D-ring, or a hugger mugger.
And it's exactly the same color as my tights, as you may notice.
Perfect. So I love the belt needs to be 2 inches is my point. I like a hugger mugger. This is not a commercial endorsement. It's just, that's my preference. Okay. I like a D-ring, a good D-ring. So now you're going to unloop the strap, and you're going to wrap the strap around your greater trochanters. See, this is why it's so important we know our bony landmarks, because that's going to inform where we put the strap.
Yep.
Okay. So I want you set it up exactly the way I want, which is you're going to pull toward the left.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to find your greater trochanters, those bony protuberances on the outer hip. You're going to put the strap right over those trochanters, and then you're going to cinch it up. Yeah. Now, you need to be able to slide a finger between the strap and your body, but it needs to be tight.
Yeah, it's tight.
So now we've made you an external ligament.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually go about your day. I always tuck the tail. I'll tuck the tail of the strap in. You can go about your day now with this external ligament, and it'll help stabilize the joint, and it'll hopefully reduce pain.
Okay. It's not as dramatic as I was hoping. Maybe I need to make it tighter.
Make it tighter.
It's like it hurts to tighten it, like the twisting action. I need someone. I need an assistant. Where's my studio assistant?
Where's Nico?
Yeah. Working.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to change the orientation of the strap too. Sometimes you need to pull in the other direction. You know, you can play with that, but you want it snug.
Yeah, it feels like, ooh, this is amazing.
And now, how does that feel? You feel like you can walk?
I feel like 80% of the pain is gone.
Exactly, because we're reestablishing bony congruence. So this is the other piece of the puzzle. This isn't a situation that you resolve overnight. It takes a few days. And so the strap, I don't want you to sleep in the strap, and it may be tempting, but wear it while you're going about your day, and then take it, you know, wear it for a while. Let's say, I mean, you can wear it for a few hours, to be honest. And then when it's time to sit down to dinner, you can take it off, because the transitions with the strap are difficult, or you can leave it on.
Okay.
It just depends how you feel wearing the thing. But what we're doing is we're just stabilizing the joint, because what happened in Piriformis for you is destabilization. And the SI joint is a joint of stability, not mobility.
Okay, let me try to come back down to
it's challenging. Yeah.
Mary Richards, I'm so grateful for your generosity of your time and your knowledge with me, with all of us who are in sacroiliac pain. And I think that's all I want to say. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at maryrichardsyoga.com and on Facebook at A Little Yoga Goes a Long Way.
I'm Lizzie Lasater everywhere. Instagram, on Facebook.com. And our course is launching very soon. Experientialanatomy.yoga is the website, and you can find out everything you need to know. Okay. Bye, Mary.
Bye, Lizzie. You're welcome.